So this end does not fit through any of those slots, even with this red piece perfectly flush up against it. So I think the solution, the end game solution, is going to be, if we want a tube on that siphon, we're going to have to snip just one of those off into a double. Not a big deal. We'll pick a spot where it's going to go down in from the one side and modify the cage a little bit. In the meantime, I got one of these T's, snipped it down so it'll sit flush like that. We'll block this end, and we'll get the tube on the other end and attach it all the way up so that it's one unit and never has to be separated again. So here's our semi-permanent solution. I think I'll trim this end off, somewhere around the band. It just doesn't need to be higher. And I got temporary tape to kind of keep it lined up while the glue dries. I'm thinking I might leave the tape and just throw zip ties over it, because the adhesive helps keep it from trying to rotate around the pipe. And then all we have is this piece trimmed so that it's not sticking out, below the lip. So trimmed real short, flanges off it, covered in glue, and this is going to dry up and it'll be perfectly sealed. So hopefully it does what we need it to. We'll go out in the morning, I think, and try to beat the crowds of crazies to the store and get the other parts that we need to do the dust collector and the lights. Okay, so just drill a hole in the back that the threads will fit through. These got a little banged up, but they're conduit thread. Like, they're not super important. I'd like to get another pair of these flanges, because the way these are intended to be used is to screw into a fixture that's already threaded, and then this locks down whichever orientation you have them in. But on the inside, they're doing okay. It's just that lip is really, really thin. So I don't want to leave it like that way forever. A nut for each one, 2 more nuts total would really make it do well. So these are 1600 lumens each. So if we can't see the parts we're working on at this point, there's no reason to continue living. This is the #1 thing now that anybody should do to one of these blasting cabinets. Screw your pickup tubes, screw sealing it with anything, screw dust collectors. Check this out. Boom. Like, we're going to be able to see everything forever. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah, look at that. It's so bright. We'll see how it looks actually going along. And, like, for the first time, it's bright enough I can actually see the scratches in the plastic piece underneath. So it's exciting. Those may last way longer now that there's proper lighting. So step 2, we'll get that dust collector together, and then at some point today we'll give it a test. And otherwise, it's just going to be the sandblaster and then cleaning, because I'm starting to get tools piled on top of parts, piled on top of stuff. So we'll get the dust collector made. That'll be a cleanup night. And Sunday for sure I have all day free, so I think Sunday is going to be floor day. So Sunday we at a minimum get this floor out and start fitting the new one, and hopefully paint will have showed up during the week and we can seal it up as quick as possible once it's repaired. So I took rough measurements and bought this shop vac hose, this 8-foot, knowing that my shop vac is roughly 1.5 inch and this one's roughly 2.5. Check this out. Boom. Like, it just fits in the cabinet. So that's pretty cool. That means all we have to do is dip with this end and try to get things to go into this bucket lid and make a little cyclone. So I just bought some 1.5 and 2.5 stuff, and we'll half-ass something and make it work. Okay, so here's the 1.5 inch from my shop vac, and it's a little flexy on the end, so I don't think we'll actually need anything for it. I think we just make the right size hole in the middle, and we'll just jam her down in there. If it seems like the lid can't take the load of it, we'll reinforce it somehow, but this should be able to just stick in. In worst case, we could find a coupling that it'll stick into to make this a little stronger. And then on the bigger hose side that goes to the blaster, this end, there's a couple options to cap it. The one that matches the other side the same actually fits, well, it doesn't fit inside, but it matches the diameter of this really well. So I think we can find whatever the outer diameter of this is, find a rubber coupling to hold these together, and then these two can sandwich. So we use that lip and sandwich the lid. This guy on the bottom of the lid, it'll end up like this, kind of pointed along the edge. And when it's in the bucket like that, the airflow vacuum would be pulled on the bucket. So stuff from the blaster is going to come in this tube, shoot out, spin around the edge, and the idea is that all the particles go to the side of the bucket and drop to the bottom while the air goes out the top. We'll see how it goes. There's tons of videos of them working out there. Whether mine will work or not, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, here's that lid. It's super flimsy, so this may have just turned into proof of concept, and we can use it as a template. You can see that should blast it up against the edge and make it spin around. Yeah, we can get a stronger lid. Go with that. Although maybe when this is snapped in place, maybe it'll be fine. It's not like we use the blaster all that often. It'll be nice to use for other things though. And that I cut a little too big, so maybe we'll get we'll need a stronger lid. But this will let us know if it works or not. All we got to do is put, maybe just tape this on here for now to give it a try. But that'll be later today. Okay, everything's hooked up. I'm running the lights and the vacuum off of the plug from the porch, because the lights in here are on their own circuit, but the wall plugs and the one exterior plug here is on the same one. There's no way that this shop vac and the compressor are on at the same time. Most of the time I've got to flip the breaker for the compressor anyway if it's cold. So we'll go ahead and turn things on. I already got the tank full. It'll probably pop on. I'll have to lower the audio, but so there's our lighting looking pretty good. Sucks enough that it pulls the gloves out. There's a plug on the back. I might consider putting like a valve on and try to get it so that it's not working so hard to pull air through. Yeah, let's tape the camera down and give it a shot. Okay, got that pickup tube back in. Let's see how she runs. It's so much easier to see. Oh, that's nice. And that was a relatively short amount of time, so I don't expect there to be much in here. But if there's any in here at all, it means it was doing something, right? But hopefully it's not too fine of a particle. Oh, yeah. Cool. So we got a bunch of dust in the bottom, and you can see kind of from this corner, if we follow it, it spirals upwards as it sticks to the side. That might be from static. Because this was a brand new bucket, so it's not like there's liquid in there. But for a short amount of time, that's a pretty significant pile of media. I mean, I'm going to be able to reclaim a lot of this too, so that's exciting. The shop vac's full of, well, it's full of all that crap I was vacuuming out of the car. So, yeah. But it doesn't look like it's covered in aluminum oxide. So yeah, we'll empty this out and clean it, and I'll clean up this filter the best I can. That way we can get a better view of what's going on with the dust. But that's exciting. It seems to work pretty well.